anyone have any questions for these guys? Probably have some interesting answers if you've got interesting questions.
John, you mentioned you have examples of competitors being friends too.
Yes.
Just interested in stories along those lines.
Yeah, this idea of competitors can be friends too. You know, how can that ever benefit business, or why would you do that? It's kind of like loving your enemy, right? That's in the gospel too. A couple of examples. When we started out, you know, we would gather resumes to interview people with, and we saw a lot of people that we couldn't hire, but they were good people. We thought, what should we do with this? Now, the old days, old company, I would take those resumes, throw them in the trash can, and move on. You know, but with this idea of the economy of competing, we thought, well, why don't we take those resumes and send them to our competitors, because these are people needing jobs, and maybe they need them. So we did that. That was one of the things we did, and sure enough, a lot of our competitors hired some of the people that we sent to them. Sometimes, unfortunately for us, because they were good people, but no. But they were really struck by this kind of act of generosity, and so we would do things like that. Some people were trying to start competitive businesses and wanted to know how to start a business. I would meet with them for lunch, and I would tell them everything that I did wrong in starting my business, and they appreciated that. And you know, people will always try to get you to talk badly about your competitors. Hey, they're pretty bad. Well, aren't they bad? You know, it's real easy from a human standpoint. You're kind of going, even if you know they're not as good as you, to not say anything. But we made a lot of efforts to never, it became company policy, we never speak badly of a competitor. Well, a couple of things happened. One time I got a call out of the blue. I answered my cell phone. Yeah, hey, John, this is Steve from Acuity. Hey, Steve. What's going on? There's a competitor. Hey, I'm sitting in here in my conference room with about 10 people, and we were faced with a difficult employee situation. And we don't know what to do. One of the people said, I wonder what John Mundell would do. And they called me. And I go, wow, okay. So they called, and they outlined the problem, and then they said, what do you think? I thought, well, here's what I would do. You know, if it were me, it's a difficult employee situation, but you got to give them a chance. And I've outlined a lot of steps that were, I thought, the way we were trying to handle it. When I was done, there was like this dead silence. And I thought they'd hung up, you know, or something. And I said, hey, Steve, are you guys there? And he goes, oh, no, we're here. We're all shaking our heads up and down, and I think we have the right direction now. Really appreciate it. Thanks. That was one time. I had another time where I had a president of another environmental company, a woman. I'm not saying this is a woman and why she was doing this, but she called me up crying. I go, what's wrong, Deb? And she goes, you know, I didn't know who else to call, and I thought you would be the only one to understand. I just had an employee turn in the resignation, and it really hurts. And I just was wondering, I wanted to share that and wondered, do you ever have that kind of feeling? And I said, oh my gosh, yeah. Really, when you get attached to people and you get to know them and then they have to leave, I said, I felt the same way. So we had this really beautiful conversation, and then she hung up. So that's another example. Probably the most dramatic example of loving your competitors we've had is we were going after work in another state, and we were down to like the final two, and we showed up, and the city, we were working for a city, and the city's lawyer had to go through the checklist of, they called all of our references and you know, went through all of our stuff. And he said, you know, I think I would like to recommend this company, Mundell and Associates. And the town council, this is a town council with people in the audience. He said, why is that? Well, their references checked out wonderfully. I mean, the people who work with them love them, but that's not why I'm recommending it. So why not? He said, well, I'm recommending it that we hire them because I called their competitors, because I was trying to get any dirt I could on this company. And the competitors down to everyone said, you would do well to hire this company. I thought, wow. So, you know, I've had those, I have a lot more, but those are the kind of things that make you realize if you're able to have relationships with competitors, you ought to be able to have relationships with clients, with the community, you know, if you can hit that mark. So anyway, that's it. Other question?
You could probably do a full day symposium, so I guess maybe the top thing that comes to mind for either of you guys, when you consider actually implementing this into either an existing business in your case or a new business in your case, and making it not this nice thing that we do because we want to do it, but actually making it almost a mission critical part of the business. So that way it's, I think you had said, we realize that our business is going to live and die based off of our core values. So how you begin integrating that when you know that team members have those values, but making it actually like one and the same with business development and not just the side thing.
Can you repeat that question just for the microphone?
I'm not sure what the question is.
I think the question is, how do you get everyone on board to make this so critical,
Right.
a component?
Right, so I'm a financial advisor as well. So me and my partner both, we're mission oriented, and we have a heart for the community and different organizations. There's ideas, and we are philanthropic in our own right, but actually making that part of the DNA of the practice.
Right.
Just anything that comes to mind when you think about that for integrating into the business.
Yeah, so when I was speaking in Canada, we did a whole workshop on how to build a plan for you. And so this would be like the super abbreviated version of it. Answer this question. How do you apply something that you're passionate about or that you care about? And what we talked about was define a goal. If you can have something like a 10-year goal that you want to achieve in the business, that's measurable. And then you think about, what are you already giving to? What do you care about? What's that passion, that purpose that you are engaged in the community? And then break down into a metric, units. How much money would it take in units to impact that thing that I care about? So we had somebody say, well, I'm involved in Habitat for Humanity. And we're not gonna be building houses every time we get a new client. Our clients are not, we don't have that much revenue per client. And it was like, well, that probably won't work, but what if you were to say every time you work with somebody, you install a new window? Maybe the window is the part of the house that you want to say, we'll install this as a result of that. So if you can take that passion, that purpose that you have, and find it in digestible units, then run those units through on a per revenue unit basis and make sure that they're a number that is not too big, or then you can roll it out and then define a way to integrate that into your sales process. That way, every time you talk to somebody, they hear that, hey, as a part of this thing, like, you're super excited about this. This is going to change. Like, I'm coaching somebody right now, and her thing is kind of similar to what you're involved with, where she helps companies get launched off the ground internationally. It's a microfinancing type of company. So every time that she takes on a client, she's already giving to this organization. And so now a new business will start every time she engages with a new customer. And so she's not only helping people with growing their businesses, but while they do that together, somebody else is going to get a chance to have their own company at the same time, because they can do it in such small denominations. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great.
You know, one of the things we do, we've done a lot of things, but, you know, we found that it's always, like you said, find something very direct that you can touch, that's passionate, you can measure it. We have an international internship program we've had for about 14, 15 years. And every year we brought young people from around the world to the United States for 2 to 6 months as interns to understand, how do you run an EOC socially responsible business, and what does that mean? How do you get involved in the community? Ideas on starting your own business when you go back home. So with 70 interns over that time period, and our employees every year exposed to people from around the world who have this interest, getting to know them in parties and small things. They for us, our employees were educated by the interns even more so than me, because it's not like the boss telling them, hey, we're going to help the poor. Here's a check for the, we're going to help, you know, something. This is real people they've met that end up going back to to their home countries, stay in contact with me, but also with my employees. Some of the employees have visited interns when they've gone over to Italy or to Brazil or whatever. So I think for us, the first step really for me is always to try to live it, like this man here, where people say, he walks the walk, talks the talk, and that people can feel free to adopt that. Hey, I think this is a good mission. I want to live this too. This is part of our DNA. Also involve them in various community events that they like. So there are a lot of ways, but it's all, not anyone get 100%. Not everybody, I tell everybody when we hire them, hey, we're part of this thing and here's what we do. Several people want to come because this is what we do. Others, I'm a scientist. I want to help with Earth, clean up the Earth. So you gotta sometimes understand limits.
The nice thing is you can pick something and be wrong, and it's okay. Because as soon as you figure out that it's wrong, it's something better, you can shift and pivot to that thing. And so that's what I feel like was freeing, even like finishing from high school or undergrad or the first phase. Like, it's okay to be wrong. It's a process of figuring out where do you focus, and little by little you start to get that more and more clear. And so the first thing that you select may not be the right one. That's okay. It won't last forever. You can shift to something else.
Good question. Thanks, Robert. One quick question.
Come on back there. Let's hear a question from the last 3 rows. Come on, I'll give you $1 if you do it. All right, you got $1.
What are some of the biggest barriers you guys have seen when you're trying to get other companies to take this same approach of being mindful in how they interact with the community? What things hold people back? Is it more like physical barriers or just kind of a mindset?
For me, part of my job in the international level is to try to encourage young people all over the world to take this on. So we hold schools, workshops, week long, 2 days here, 3 days there. And I found that the biggest barriers are here in the United States because there's more to lose when you decide to take this attitude, if I give up my high-paying job to do this, I'm going to give up something. Whereas, we started probably 35 to 40 companies in Africa, and they have nothing. So why isn't this something to do? This is beautiful, So it's one of the barriers is this idea you're giving up something, the uncertainty financially. How can you do this? Are you really? Am I going to have a good financial life if I just also become a saint and start giving away my profits? So that I find that's a difficult thing. And I often tell the stories of I had that same concern. I had 4 kids going from high school and grade school when I started this, and I thought, how are we going to pay for college? Give an example. I had a son, my oldest son, smart kid, 800 SAT, got accepted to MIT. MIT didn't care if I gave him away $100,000. It's how much the company's revenue is. So there was no money for MIT. That hurt. I'm a Purdue engineer. My son gets accepted to MIT. What's going to happen? Well, my son understood what our mission was in the family. We could take, instead of giving the MIT tuition every year, we were giving it away. And he said, that is okay. I'm going to Purdue. I got a full ride to Purdue University. If I want to go to MIT, grad school, I'll do that. So that was the hardest thing. That's a real practical thing. There are sacrifices you make. But you also find that the more you give, the more you receive. So I've had so much stuff, we call it providence. Providence strikes again, in the sense that unexpected good things, people giving you things, people doing things for you, people giving you vacation times in Brazil because they love you. Goodwill and relationships are something unbelievable. So I try to convince people of that. But you still have those, how much money am I going to make?
Do you remember what the arc reactor is? The arc reactor? Seen the Iron Man movies? No?
I love this reference.
Well, Tony Stark was taken hostage and was in a cave, and he had to find a way to get out of the cave. Well, they had to have some kind of device to keep the palladium or the shrapnel from getting into his heart or his lungs. And so he built this unit that was like a power source. And then when he gets back home, he creates a new element that he actually has his own laboratory that can build it. And so I think the answer to this question is people think that they're concerned about, outgiving what you're going to receive. Our experience has been when you press into something like this, it creates an energy force that has it's a whole animal on its own and takes off for you. And so I didn't go through all the slides. I think this would make sense for the time that we had. But in our business, we wanted to be in the press. We wanted to get attention. We wanted to get recognition and things like that. And yes, we're nationwide. Yes, we have clients in all 50 states. Yes, we have about 6,000 clients, and we've done a lot of great things. But that's really not that attractive to the press. Well, since we started to pursue this as our goal, being able to change lives through vision, financial vision first, and now physical vision second, what's happened is we're getting all kinds of press. We're speaking all kinds of places. We're in all kinds of articles now. I mean, we're getting so much attention now that we never could have created on our own. And simply by saying, we're going to go after this thing. What if we could go after one thing that by simply doing that, it could be like a magnet. It could attract so much, not because we just want it for business, but because we actually care. We give a rip about this thing. And so I think it's hard for people to grasp the potential of this. And so being able to imagine a possible future is the first step of it. There's a whole process we talk about that you go through to get to this point, but making that shift, as you kind of alluded to mentally, is a difficult thing to see the possibilities of it. But it has turned on so much more avenues for us, is that it's attracting people to us now, much more than us having to be going out as a business.
I'll add one thing to that because it reminded me of something that happened to us. So for many years, the economy of community was under the radar, right? I would talk to friends, hey, what are you doing? Well, I've started this company. We're part of this thing called the economy of community. What's that? Well, it was started by this lady, Carol Ludwig, with folklore. What's that? So for like 14 years, we operated with no press, nothing knowing what to do. And then one time, something amazing happened. The amazing thing was that a few years back, a Pope by the name of Pope Benedict XVI decided to write an encyclical called Caritas Veritate and mention the economy of community by name in the encyclical. Well, we knew this. Before an encyclical was published, it's sent around the world to certain people. And a lot of people received this and didn't know what he was even talking about. Said, what is this thing? And within like 3 days, I had emails and faxes from all over the world because they Googled economy of community in North America and just wanted to see what would pop up. And for some reason, my company got picked up, and oh my gosh. And so there's this guy, his name's John Allen. He's a famous journalist from National Catholic Reporter and different things. He calls up, interviews me and all that. And so he issues this article in the paper that says, Pope endorses small Indiana environmental consulting firm. And I called him up after, why did you do this? This makes it look like the Pope personally endorsed our company. He goes, no, I thought this would catch attention. I go, well, it certainly has. Thanks a lot. So even people who knew me in the folklore movement called up, did the Pope really endorse? No, he did not endorse. I mean, he didn't endorse in a generic sense. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you don't know where it's coming from, and we had, luckily, a couple years ago, Pope Francis did the same thing with some things, and maybe those that's true. But you never know. It's the good thing. I've learned that you have to just go out. Just you have to follow that passion and that purpose, and good things happen.
Well, thank you, fellas.